humans, it's just Martine, and today we're going to do another study with me vlog, the first of the semester. Let's do it! Roll the intro music. Right, so I started filming this study with me this week, and I did not film everything I did because I realized very quickly that it was quite repetitive. And that is because last semester, I was not taking many psychology classes. My main classes last semester were not psychology. My major is forensic psychology, so this was unusual for me, but it's a nice change of pace. This semester, I am taking exclusively psychology classes. And I don't know how much experience you have with psychology classes, but in my experience, the brunt of the work in psychology classes is textbook reading. Anyway, the point is, most of it is textbook reading, and that is kind of boring to watch. So I tried my best. I tried playing with angles and stuff in the voiceover. Hopefully I'll talk about something interesting, but I want you to comment down below. First of all, and say, even though most of my homework that I'm doing is in fact textbook reading, do you still want to be seeing study with me during this time? Additionally, would you like me to talk about balancing school reading and extracurricular reading, since I am having to balance them more this semester than last semester? And finally, if you have specific ideas for things that you want me to talk about during my voiceovers, since I don't really have to explain much of the fact that I'm just reading textbooks over and over again, please feel free to comment that down below, whether it's you have a specific question about a study technique or anything, just any questions for a future study with me, please post them down below. I would be greatly indebted to you. So that's it, so let's get into it. Take it over, Voiceover Martine. Hello humans, it's Voiceover Martine, and today I'm reading an emotion and affect chapter, which was the introduction for my honors seminar course because my professor chose like an overall topic that we were going to be talking about this semester. I said in class the other day that I hadn't really studied emotion and affect since introduction to psychology, and that is completely true. And I took that in like 11th grade as an AP Psych course, so it's been a while, but it's fascinating stuff. And I gotta tell you, I've been learning a lot. I think my favorite thing that I've learned so far has been affective forecasting, which is basically this idea that humans are really bad at predicting how we're actually going to feel about things. For instance, if you have something that you're really excited for, you're going to end up probably being like less happy when it actually happens than you anticipated yourself being. Additionally, you think you'll be devastated by something, but you always find ways to cope, and it's not as bad as you thought it would be. Now I'm switching over to reading a chapter from dissertations and theses from start to finish because I'm starting work this semester on my undergraduate thesis, which is going to be something about mindfulness and memory because those are my main areas of study. If I'm being quite honest with you, I'm terrified about this process, but so far I've started collecting my literature. Things are looking good, and I think my thesis advisor and I have a plan. So here is probably the most dizzying clip I've ever seen in my life. I considered taking it out, but the reality is that this is how I get most of my reading done, just pacing around my room. So I was reading Moonwalking with Einstein for my memory class because we're reading some popular science picks along with our textbook, which I really appreciate that my professor is doing. This is a fascinating book about a guy who went to cover a memory championship for like a news article, and then a year later became the new champion in the US. Now I'm reading my memory chapter, which was about learning. My professor's doing this really awesome thing where we're going over all the chapters that have to do with like improving your memory and improving your learning before we dive into all the other material so that we can have all the strategies we need to be successful in the class and all of our other classes for the semester, which I think is really cool. Memory is probably one of my favorite topics to study, so even though I knew a lot of what it was saying in this textbook chapter, I still love having it reaffirmed, knowing that I'm on the right path, reminding myself that like even though deliberate practice is hard, it's really, really worth it. Looking at some fun brain scans here in the corner, just reading as carefully as I can, but in all honesty, I don't take notes while I'm reading the textbook or anything. I tried to do that like my freshman year, and I dropped off by the end because the truth is that it was making me avoid my textbook reading because I knew it would take a lot longer. So my tip for if you have something that you're avoiding is to find some way to make it easier for you, but also to acknowledge like this is going to suck. I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm still reading this chapter, but from a different perspective because angles are cool, don't you think? And hopefully I'm moving on to something else soon, but who's to say really? Yep, here I am. Another thing for memory is we're working on improving our memories with like 4 specific tasks. So it's names and faces, memorizing cards, memorizing numbers, and poetry. And so on the first day of class, we took like a pre-test, and we're spending the rest of our semester having assignments to like train our memory so that at the end we do a post-test and we see how we've improved. So this is just me looking at names and faces, trying to memorize them. I did not make much progress that day, but I put in my time, and that's what matters. It also just looks really weird, looking back and seeing, oh, she's just staring at names and faces, and then she's trying to type them in, and she's getting some wrong, but she's getting some right. It's weird. This is how I spend my time, apparently. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below. How do you feel about textbook reading? Do you have anything you want me to talk about in the future? And subscribe for more reading, writing, college lifestyle content. Until next time, bye humans, bye!